Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There comes a moment in every man's life when he realizes he let go of something that was priceless, something he'll never get back. That moment is when he realizes he lost a real woman. And I'm talking about a woman who's strong, who's loyal, who loves with her heart wide open, who stands tall even when the world tries to knock her down. That woman, the kind who nurtures, supports, and challenges a man to be better, is not easy to find. And yet, so many men don't see it until it's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about something that too many people don't understand until it's gone: the value of a real woman. Now, when I say a real woman, I'm not talking about just any woman you see walking down the street or just anyone who happens to smile at you. I'm talking about a woman who carries herself with strength, with dignity, with kindness, and with a heart that's big enough to love without limits, but smart enough to know when to walk away. A real woman is rare. She's not easy to find, and she's certainly not easy to replace. And that's why so many men fail to see her value until they've already lost her. A real woman is the kind of woman who invests in you, not because she has to, but because she chooses to. She celebrates your victories, even when they're small. She motivates you when you feel like giving up. She speaks the truth, even when it stings, because she knows love isn't about making you feel good all the time. It's about making you better. She has her own goals, her own dreams, her own sense of self-worth, and yet she still chooses to share her life with you. That combination of independence and commitment, that's a real woman. That's rare. That's priceless. Too often, men take this for granted. They think because a woman loves them, because she supports them, because she's there day in and day out, that she'll always be there. But ladies, let me tell you something. Nothing lasts forever if it's not nurtured. A real woman knows her worth. She knows when she's being taken for granted. She knows when her love isn't appreciated. And when she realizes that the man she's giving herself to doesn't see the value in her, she doesn't beg. She doesn't grovel. She doesn't lower her standards. She walks away. And that, my friends, is where the lesson comes in for a man who thought he had it all. A real woman is the type of woman who brings balance to a life. She has patience, but she also has boundaries. She nurtures, but she also expects to be respected. She forgives, but she doesn't allow herself to be repeatedly hurt. She communicates, but she doesn't tolerate games. This balance, this rare combination of love and strength is what makes her irreplaceable. And when a man loses her, he doesn't just lose a partner. He loses a teacher, a motivator, a friend, a confidant, and a queen who made him better without him even realizing it. And let's not forget, ladies, a real woman doesn't settle. She doesn't settle for a man who doesn't see her value. She doesn't settle for excuses. She doesn't settle for love that isn't real or respect that isn't earned. She knows her worth and she expects a man to match it. That's not arrogance, that's self-respect, that's intelligence. That's the type of woman who, when she leaves a man staring at an empty space, wondering why he didn't show up the way he should have. Men, this is your reality check. A real woman will challenge you. She will make you uncomfortable when you're being lazy with your love. She will question you when your actions don't match your words. She will demand accountability because she knows that love is not just about feelings, it's about actions. And when she's gone, all those little challenges, those little nudges to be better suddenly make you realize she was one of a kind. That moment of clarity is painful because you can't go back in time and appreciate what you had. You can't undo the days, weeks, months, or even years that you spent taking her for granted. She was a real woman, and she walked away because she knew her value. Now, let me tell you something else about real women. They leave a legacy. The way she loves, the way she teaches, the way she sets standards, it lingers long after she's gone. Men may not realize it at first, but the lesson she imparted, the care she showed, the standards she set, stay with you forever. That's the thing about a real woman. She doesn't just occupy space, she creates impact. And when that impact is gone, a man is left with nothing but the echo of what he didn't appreciate. Ladies, don't ever underestimate the power of being a real woman. Your strength, your compassion, your loyalty, your intelligence, those things are rare treasures. You are not meant to be taken for granted. You are meant to be cherished, respected, and loved for the depth of who you are. And men, let me warn you, when you lose a woman like that, no apology, no grand gesture, no amount of regret is going to bring her back the way she was when she loved you with her whole heart. Because a real woman knows her worth. And once she walks away, she does so with her head high, her pride intact, and her life moving forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's recognize the rarity of a real woman. Let's honor the women in our lives who inspire us, who challenge us, who push us to be better every single day, because these women are not just partners, they are treasures. And when a man realizes he lost a real woman, it's not just heartbreak for him, it's a reminder of what true love really looks like and the rare gem that he lets slip through his fingers. A real woman is one of a kind, and she should never, ever be undervalued. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get real for a moment. There's something about love that makes some men blind to what they have until it's gone. I'm talking about the kind of love that's steady, the kind that's loyal, the kind that sticks around through thick and thin, and the kind that only a real woman can give. Too many men take that kind of love for granted. They think because it's always been there, it will always be there. They forget that love is not an automatic thing. It's a daily choice. It's a consistent effort. It's respect shown in small moments that add up over time. And when a man doesn't see that, he's on a fast track to losing the best thing that ever happened to him. Now, let me tell you something. Men, some of you get caught up in the grind, in the stress, in the day-to-day distractions, and you forget about the woman who's holding it all together at home. She's managing the bills. She's making sure the family eats. She's keeping the house in order. And she's still making time to love you, support you, and encourage you. And what do some men do? They just take it for granted. They don't say thank you. They don't notice the sacrifices. They don't notice the late nights, the patience, the tears she hides just to keep the peace. And ladies, I'm here to tell you, when a man takes that for granted, he is setting himself up for regret. Men often think love is just about being in a relationship, about having someone there to share the good times. But a real woman is about so much more than just good times. She's about balance. She's about holding you accountable when you slip. She's about challenging you to be better when you're being lazy, not just in work, but in life, in character, in the way you treat people. She's about being loyal when everyone else would leave. And some men don't notice until it's too late. They don't notice until she walks away, and suddenly the house feels empty. The days feel longer, and the warmth she brought isn't there anymore. You see, taking love for granted doesn't happen all at once. It happens little by little. A missed thank why, ooh here, a forgotten compliment there, a failure to listen, a failure to respect boundaries, a failure to show appreciation. And over time, all those little things stack up like bricks in a wall between a man and the woman who loves him. And when she finally reaches her breaking point and decides she's had enough, that wall comes crashing down, not on her, but on him. That's when he realizes what he lost. That's when he realizes that love isn't something you get to take for granted, that a real woman's heart is not an unlimited resource. She gives because she chooses to, not because she has to. And if that love is met with indifference, it will run out. Now, here's the thing, ladies. A real woman doesn't walk away out of spite. She walks away because she knows her worth. She walks away because she refuses to waste her love on someone who doesn't see it, someone who doesn't appreciate it, someone who doesn't understand that being loved by a real woman is a gift, not an obligation. And when she leaves, men finally realize what they had. They realize the laughter they took for granted, the support they didn't acknowledge, the loyalty they dismissed, and the love they assumed would always be there. But it's gone. And at that moment, regret sets in. Some men, when faced with that reality, try to fix it. They try to apologize. They try to promise they'll change. They try to show they finally understand. But ladies, here's the truth. Real women don't always go back. Real women have standards. They have self-respect. They have dignity. Once they've made the decision to walk away from being taken for granted, they move forward, leaving a man to wrestle with his mistakes and his SSE opportunities. And that's the harshest lesson some men ever learn. Love, when it's real, cannot be bought back with words alone. It has to be nurtured, valued, and honored from the beginning. And men, I need you to hear this. Noticing love isn't just about big gestures. It's about the small ones. It's about saying thank you when she cooks. It's about noticing when she's stressed and offering support. It's about recognizing her sacrifices without her having to spell them out. It's about showing appreciation for the little things that build the foundation of a relationship. When you take these things for granted, you fail to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. You fail to recognize the rare treasure that is standing right in front of you. Too many men only realize the truth when she's gone. They remember the way she laughed, the way she encouraged them, the way she stood by them, even when they didn't deserve it. They remember all the moments they brushed off, all the kindness they overlooked, all the love they assumed would be endless. And at that point, regret becomes a constant companion because they finally understand that love, the kind that comes from a real woman, is not a guarantee, it's a gift. And gifts, if not appreciated, are lost forever. Ladies, don't ever let a man take your love for granted. Don't let him assume you'll always be there to pick up the pieces, to forgive, to hold him together, to love unconditionally while being undervalued. Stand tall, set boundaries, and know your worth. Men, pay attention, show gratitude, value her consistently. Love is not about possession, it's about appreciation. And if you wait until it's gone to appreciate her, you're too late. When a man finally realizes he took a real woman for granted, it's a bitter pill to swallow. That's the moment he understands that love is not just a feeling, it's an action, it's commitment, it's respect, and it's earned every single day. And if he didn't see that while he had it, all the money, all the words, all the promises in the world won't replace the love he threw away. That's the truth about taking love for granted. It's a mistake you don't always get to fix. So, ladies and gentlemen, take a moment to recognize the women in your life who love deeply, support faithfully, and challenge honestly. Appreciate them every day, because when you don't, the lesson comes in the form of loss. And once that real love is gone, it's gone for good. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that too many people don't understand until it's too late: the consequences of neglect and mistakes in relationships. You see, love isn't just about saying I love you or showing up when it's convenient. Love is about action, attention, and effort every single day. And the truth is, when a man neglects a real woman, when he takes her for granted, when he makes mistake after mistake thinking she'll forgive it every time, there comes a moment when reality hits, and it hits hard. Neglect doesn't always start as a big thing. It starts small. Maybe it's forgetting to listen when she's sharing her feelings. Maybe it's brushing off her concerns because you're too tired or too busy. Maybe it's taking her sacrifices for granted, like the way she supports your dreams or the way she manages life while you focus on work. And these little things over time start to pile up. They start to weigh heavy on her heart, even if she doesn't say anything at first. And that's where the danger begins. You see, when a woman feels neglected, she doesn't stop caring immediately. She doesn't stop loving immediately. She tries to fix things. She tries to communicate. She tries to make him understand without confrontation. But when those attempts are ignored, when mistakes continue to happen, when promises are broken over and over again, the pain starts to build. And one day, the woman who loved without limits, who gave her heart fully, who supported and encouraged, reaches the point where she can no longer stay. And that, my friends, is when the consequences of neglect become painfully clear. Men, here's the thing about mistakes in relationships. Everyone makes them. Nobody is perfect. But what separates a man who keeps his woman from a man who loses her is accountability. It's not about saying sorry and expecting her to forget. It's about recognizing what you did wrong, understanding how it affected her, and committing to change your behavior. Neglect and repeated mistakes show her that you're not invested in her, that you are not aware of her worth, and that you're willing to take her love for granted. And let me tell you something. Real women don't stick around for that forever. When a man keeps making mistakes, the consequences aren't always immediate. At first, a woman will forgive. She will be patient. She will give you second chances because she believes in your love. She believes in your potential, and she believes in what the relationship could be. But patience has limits. Love has limits. Respect has limits. And when those limits are reached, the consequences are severe. The woman walks away, and suddenly the man is left with regret, loneliness, and a hard truth he can fix with apologies alone. Neglect also sends a message, whether a man realizes it or not. It tells her that she isn't a priority, that her feelings don't matter, that her love is optional. And a woman who is constantly undervalued, ignored, or dismissed begins to understand that the man she loves might never see her true worth. That realization, my friends, is devastating. It's not just about a lost relationship, it's about a lost opportunity to cherish someone who gave everything she had. And when that opportunity is gone, no amount of promises or gifts will bring it back. Let me be clear, ladies, a real woman doesn't leave lightly. She doesn't walk away at the first sign of trouble. She loves deeply, she forgives willingly, and she tries to make it work. But when she reaches the point where neglect and repeated mistakes outweigh love and patience, she makes a decision to protect herself. And that is where the consequences hit hardest for a man, because the love that was freely given, the care that was constantly there, the patience that seemed endless, all of it is gone. And that emptiness, that regret, is the price of neglect. Men, the truth is that relationships are not just about feelings, they're about effort. They're about showing up consistently, about valuing your partner, about owning your mistakes, and about being present in every sense of the word. Neglect might seem harmless at first, skipping a call, forgetting a date, not noticing a sacrifice, but those small actions add up. They accumulate, and the weight of those choices eventually pushes a real woman away. And once she's gone, you realize too late that love is fragile, respect is earned, and patience is limited. Mistakes in relationships are natural, but repeated mistakes, especially when paired with neglect, are destructive. A man who ignores the signs, ignores the quiet disappointment, the subtle withdrawal, the emotional distance, is heading for heartbreak. The consequences are clear. A broken relationship, a woman who no longer trusts, a home that feels empty, and a man left wondering why he didn't see it coming. Because here's the reality: when a real woman leaves, she leaves not because she wants to, but because she has to. She leaves with her dignity, her self-respect, and her heart intact, leaving behind a man who failed to recognize her worth. And here's something else, ladies and gentlemen. Once a woman decides to walk away, it's not just her absence that hurts a man, it's the reflection. He begins to see all the mistakes he made, all the moments he could have done better, all the times he didn't prioritize her, all the opportunities he let slip by. And those consequences linger. They don't go away. They teach the hard lesson that love must be nurtured, respect must be earned, and neglect must be avoided if you want to hold on to someone who truly matters. Neglect and mistakes have a cost. It's not always immediate, but it is inevitable. And the higher the value of the woman, the greater the cost. A real woman, one who loves fully, supports unconditionally, and challenges consistently, will not stay in a relationship where she is undervalued. And when she leaves, it's a lesson no man forgets. That's the power of consequences. They reveal the truth. They expose the mistakes, and they demand reflection. And the one who suffers most is often the man who thought he had all the time in the world to fix what he ignored. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember this: relationships are not just about being together. They're about being present, being intentional, and being aware. Neglected mistakes are not just small errors, they are seeds of regret that grow over time. And when a real woman leaves because of them, the consequences are undeniable, unforgettable, and irreversible. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something powerful, something every man and woman should understand: the empowerment and self-worth of a woman who walks away. Now, I'm not talking about walking away out of anger or spite. I'm talking about walking away with purpose, walking away with dignity, walking away because she knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less than she deserves. And let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than a woman who realizes her value and refuses to let anyone diminish it. That kind of strength is rare, it's inspiring, and it's a lesson every man should pay attention to. A real woman understands her worth. She knows what she brings to the table, not just in looks, not just in charm, but in loyalty, intelligence, compassion, and love. She knows that her love is not a disposable commodity. She knows that her time, her energy, her heart, her patience, and her care are all valuable. And she refuses to give those things to someone who does not see, appreciate, or reciprocate them. That is empowerment. That is self-respect. And when a woman reaches that point, it changes the game completely. Walkie, in your way is never easy. It takes courage. It takes clarity. It takes a deep understanding that staying in a situation where you are undervalued, disrespected, or neglected is not love, it's settling. And settling is dangerous because it chips away at your self-esteem, your happiness, and your future. A real woman knows this. She understands that leaving is not a failure. Leaving is a declaration that she respects herself enough to not be treated as an option. And that declaration is one of the most empowering things a person can ever do in a relationship. When a woman walks away, she sends a powerful message, not just to the man who failed to see her worth, but to herself and the world. She is saying, I am valuable. I am worthy. I am not defined by someone else's inability to love me properly. That confidence, that sense of self-worth is magnetic. It inspires respect. It inspires admiration. And it changes the dynamic of every future relationship she enters. Walking away doesn't make her weak. It makes her strong. It makes her wise. It makes her someone who will never again tolerate being undervalued or disrespected. And men, here's the truth you need to hear. A woman who walks away is not running from love. She's running toward her dignity. She's choosing herself over a man who didn't recognize her value. She's refusing to let his mistakes or negligence dictate her happiness. She's making a bold statement that her self-respect is not negotiable. And that, my friends, is terrifying to a man who thought he could take her for granted, because when she walks away, he realizes too late that she was irreplaceable, that her love was genuine, and that her patience and care were gifts that he squandered. Ladies, empowerment and walking away is about more than leaving a man. It's about embracing life on your own terms. It's about understanding that you don't need someone to validate your worth because you already know it. It's about setting boundaries that protect your emotional and mental well-being. A woman who walks away has learned the hard lessons. She has recognized patterns of neglect, disrespect, and mistreatment, and she refuses to repeat the cycle. That is strength, that is wisdom, and that is self-love at its highest level. Walking away also opens the door for growth. When a woman steps out of a relationship that no longer serves her, she gains clarity, confidence, and a renewed sense of purpose. She starts to invest in herself in ways she couldn't when her energy was tied up in someone else's mistakes. She focuses on her dreams, her goals, her passions, and her happiness. She discovers what it truly means to be complete on her own, without relying on someone else to define her value. And that independence, that sense of empowerment is transformative. The beauty of a woman who walks away is that she leaves with grace. She doesn't leave bitterness behind. She leaves lessons, wisdom, and strength. She carries herself with dignity, proving that her worth is not dependent on anyone's approval. And while some men may feel the sting of loss, she walks into her future empowered, confident, and ready to attract someone who truly values her. That is the ultimate consequence of self-worth. When a woman refuses to settle, she creates a life that aligns with her value, and she inspires others to recognize their own worth as well. Empowered women set the standard for love. They show the world that respect, loyalty, and care are not optional. They are essential. They teach men how to treat women properly, not through lectures, but through their actions. By walking away from someone who doesn't appreciate them, they show that love is not about possession. It's about mutual respect, understanding, and effort. That lesson echoes far beyond one relationship. It shapes communities, families, and future generations. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's a quiet power in walking away. It's not loud, it's not aggressive, but it's undeniable. When a woman who knows her worth leaves, she does it without anger or chaos. She leaves with clarity, with confidence, and with an unshakable understanding that she will never allow anyone to diminish her value again. That is empowerment. That is self-worth. That is the mark of a real woman. So, ladies, never be afraid to walk away from someone who doesn't see your value. Never compromise your self-respect for comfort or fear of being alone. Empower yourself by knowing that leaving is not giving up. It is standing up for who you are, what you deserve, and what kind of love you are willing to accept. And men, pay attention, because when a real woman walks away, you are not just losing a partner, you are losing a queen who brought strength, wisdom, and love into your life. And that loss will teach a lesson that no apology can undo.